Hello dear friends, this is Sunny Singh and you're watching Montaj and Sunny show. So in this video we are going to talk about IELTS speaking topic. The topic is about a crowded place. So it's when we talk about speaking cue card topics, that comes in the second and third part of IELTS speaking. It's impossible to predict which cue card will come in front of you, but there are many topics which we can practice, and the topics that are going to come in future in the test, they are going to be quite similar to the ones that we can practice, right? So today we are going to talk about a crowded place. A crowded place. So in second part we have to speak for 2 minutes. And before it starts, they are going to give us a 1 minute time with the pencil and paper so that we can write bullet points, and we have to speak continuously without a break for 2 minutes, right? Okay, the question will go like this. Describe a crowded place that you have been to or that you have visited. What you are going to say in reply of this question? Describe a crowded place. So there are many crowded places like shopping malls, bazaars, markets, a bus stand, a railway station. We can talk about any of these things. So like this question comes to you. So like describe a crowded place where you have been to. So I have to speak for this topic for 2 minutes. I'll go like this. Usually I don't like to go to the crowded places because of my nature, being an introvert kind of personality. I don't go to the crowds, but recently I visited a market in my city. It's Adalat Bazaar. It's in the old city, it's in the heart of the old city where this market is. I went there with my wife and my daughter, and we had to buy some clothes for my daughter which she is going to wear on a wedding occasion. So we went there in the evening. And in the evenings, it's even more crowded than in the afternoons. And how I felt, I was very uncomfortable when I went there. I wanted to get out of that place. It was very noisy. There were people all around. They were staring, glaring at you. And that made me very uncomfortable. So normally I don't like to go to crowded places, but like it was required, as it was necessary, so I had to go there. So last week, just last week I went there to that bazaar. I'm talking about Patiala city, and we went to Adalat Bazaar. So this is how you are going to explain your reply, your answer. This is how you're going to give your answer. and record it. Look at the time. It should not be less than 2 minutes. There are other things that you can say, like why it's a crowded place. So people from small towns, from the countryside, from villages, they come there for shopping. There are clothes shops, there are jewelry shops, and there are stalls, and then there are some restaurants, food, and many other small things that are required in the house for daily use. People go to that market to buy these kind of things, right? So in part third, they are going to ask you some advanced questions, some related questions that will be related with the part 2, and they are going to check your, not your knowledge, but they're going to check, are you able to speak? So be careful, don't memorize sentences and words. This is not going to help you. And settle them in your mind, in your brain. Improve your vocabulary, your grammar, and each and everything is going to help you when you're going to give your IELTS exam. So the questions that will come up in part third, the first will be like, why do a lot of people enjoy going to crowded place? So why do people go to the crowded place? It mostly depends on the nature of person. It's an individual choice. Some people like to go to crowded place, like they like to be in the crowd, they want to be more friendly, they want to see more faces, and it differentiates from person to person. There is variety to see in the market, in the crowd. There are many things we can talk about. So this is how you're going to reply, going to answer this question, right? The next one is, where would you say is the most crowded place in your city? Where would you say is the most crowded place in your city? So there are many crowded places in my city, like a bus stand is very crowded, a railway station, then we have shopping malls, and we have markets, and if there is a gathering like a festival, then people come out of their houses and gather there, and if there is a protest or kind of strike, then there is a crowd. So there are many crowded places, but mostly the markets, the bazaars, they are crowded. And next question is, would you say it's important for a city to have amusement or recreational facility? What is your opinion? They're going to ask you about your opinion. What do you say? Is it important for city to have an amusement or recreational facility? Of course, it's very important. Like in cities, there is a lack of space. Houses are very congested. There are no gardens, no lawns, no parks for children to play. So in planned cities, these are very important things. Like for entertainment purpose, it's very important. We can go out with our family, with the children, for fun, for entertainment, for an outing. So that's why it becomes very important for a city to have an amusement park or a recreational facility, right? So the next question is, why do you think people like to live in big cities despite certain problems? Why do people like to live in big cities despite certain problems? People like to live in big cities because of various advantages of big cities over the small towns and areas. Big cities have, first of all, there is an employment facility. Employment opportunities are more in big cities as compared to the small towns. There are more options of employment. That's why people go to big cities, they migrate. So it has become a trend from the last many years. More and more people, they have started migrating to cities. They're coming out of the villages, they are moving to the cities. And there are educational facilities like more institutes, colleges and universities in cities. So if a student, if they have to get education, where they will go? Of course they will come to the area where they have such institutes, colleges and universities. So this is also important. And there are many other facilities like electricity and drinking water. These are the basic needs. So these things are available in cities. But villages and small towns, they lack in these kind of facilities. So that's why people prefer to move to big cities. This, right? Okay, how do you think cities overseas are different from the cities that are in your country? So we have Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune. So if we compare them to cities abroad like New York, London, LA, Vegas, the cities that are overseas, they are well planned. The standard of living standard of people is high in those cities, as we have seen in the news, in TV, or we read in the newspaper. We come to know about these overseas cities. They are well planned, well great highways and roads, wide roads, and well connected to each other. Areas are properly planned. Then they have a skyscraper buildings touching the sky. So these things, when we look at them, so we are interested, we want to be a part of that, we want to settle there, we want to be there in those cities like London, New York. And whereas our cities, they are not well planned. Planning is not done, which is very important. This is the first step, planning. They do planning first, then they implement their plan. But what we do, we first implement, then we make the changes. So these things, our cities have become a mess. It's like a crowded place. People like colliding with each other, pushing and shoving around, and life becomes terrible. It's very uncomfortable. People don't like to live. There is a pollution like noise pollution, air and water pollution. And overseas, those people in big cities of New York, London, the governments do take care of their citizens. They have plans, and that is why they are living a good, comfortable life. But here in our cities, life is terrible, messed up. If we are on the road, we see people coming, going, and nobody knows where they are, just drifting around. They don't know where they go, what is their plan, and that is why we prefer to settle in those cities, right? Okay, the last question is, would you say urban planning is important? Why urban planning is important? Urban planning is the planning of cities. It is very important. Without planning, it will be a mess. And it's important for the overall development. A well-planned city worth its weight in gold. A well-planned city. For example, I have seen an organization that is in the business of designing areas and buildings, PUDA, Punjab Urban Development Authority. So there are wide, well-connected roads. Each and every house has a garden where children can play, and there is a parking space where we can park vehicles. And that's why the value of these planned areas is much more as compared to the other areas. That's why I'm saying urban planning is very important. It's important for the growth of state and growth of the nation, of the country. All things are well connected to each other. So that's why urban planning is important. What is planning? It's an art of giving shapes and designs to the cities and towns. As we have seen, cities, they are becoming more populated. There are more vehicles on the road. There is a pollution problem. Health issues are growing day by day. So cities are, people are migrating to the cities, and cities are becoming more and more populated. So that's why to tackle this problem, planning is very important. Without planning, it becomes difficult to make proper plans for people. It's a problem. It lowers their standard of living. That's why. These are some of the reasons. These are some of the questions that could be asked related to crowded place. There must be other questions like that we have covered. How do you feel when you go to a crowded place? It depends on you, how you are feeling. Do you enjoy being there in the crowd, or you like to be at a calm place, at a silent, peaceful place? And there could be a question, why cities are becoming more populated day by day? ਸ਼ਹਿਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੋਕ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? I think we have covered this one also. So if any question comes to your mind, write it down and take some time to make a proper answer. so that if such kind of question comes in front of you, you should have the words, you should have the vocabulary to reply, to answer, to impress the examiner, and of course that is how you're going to crack your speaking test. We are going to practice about all the possible topics of IELTS speaking, and this thing is definitely going to help you in your test. Good luck to you and have a great day. Thank you very much.